talk about another controversy. Procter & Gamble has been grappling with the animal testing issue for years. And of course, there are animal rights organizations that have made accusations and called for boycotts over those years. And Uncaged would be one, and PETA, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, is another. And in fact, this coming Saturday is Global Boycott Procter & Gamble Day. In your position as the Global External Relations Officer, how do you respond to this ongoing problem? What is happening around the world, and how are you dealing with that?
Well, the animal issue goes back to the 80s. And again, I think it's an example of the importance of building partnerships as well as doing the right thing. A fellow named Henry Spira, who was, he's passed away, but he was one of the original founders of the animal rights movement in the United States. And early on, he came to Procter & Gamble and said, I think you can make a difference in this whole area of animal testing by being a leader in the area of developing animal alternatives to animal testing. And we partnered with Henry, and over the past more than 25 years have been leaders in developing animal alternatives, and were recognized by just about every organization, including folks like PETA, as being a leader in that area. At the same time, we've been a target by PETA, by In Defense of Animals and others. Again, I think the big tree catches the wind. We've been a target to try and influence a whole industry to make changes. And first of all, we've been committed to doing the right things. So we have steadily decreased our use of animals. We ended finished product testing. We've made industry-leading changes in our pet nutrition area, which became a focus of PETA in the earlier in 2000 to 2003, after we acquired the Imes company, which is pet food. I think in some cases they challenged us to do better, and we have. In some cases, they helped us identify some practices at outside labs that frankly were sloppy, and in some cases inconsistent with our own policies. So they've pointed out some stuff that has been helpful to us that we needed to fix. At the same time, we think probably we have been unfairly targeted at sometimes, just because, as I said, big tree catches the wind. But overall, we've tried to partner with groups like the Humane Society of the U.S., even with PETA, to do things like joint lobbying, to get the EPA to change their regulations requiring animal testing that we don't think is necessary, or we think there are alternatives available that are actually more reliable, less costly, and reduce the need for animals. So again, I think overall we've developed partnerships out of this adversity that have been good for animals, good for the company, good for the industry. And that's kind of how we try to go into this kind of thing is, number one, we try to look at what the facts are. And if we need to clean our house, okay, we need to get after that. But also, how can we build partnerships to advance what's right? And almost always we can find some kind of common ground, even with a group like PETA, who has been on our tail for a long time.
What are the most important issues, those enduring truths that you've discovered as you've come along and grown with Procter & Gamble?
I would say, first of all, it's really important to know yourself and to know your values and be very centered in knowing right from wrong. It's one of those page principles of tell the truth. Knowing what your truth is really important. because having that clear and centered personal set of values then enables one to give better counsel, clearer counsel, to not have to struggle with issues in your own mind. So I think that's really important. I think it's really important to have a mentality of generosity. There's room for everybody to be right. You know, I've never met a person who believes strongly in something and articulates it believing that they're wrong. You know, for some reason, they believe that their view, their approach has merit, even if others may not. So I think this mindset of generosity, of having room, an abundance mentality, there's lots of room for lots of different views, is really important to building trust and earning the right to be a part of the community. I believe in lift as you climb. I believe we each have a responsibility to do unto others as we have benefited from mentors and coaches and people who have helped lift us up. So I spend a lot of time with women's organizations and am the leader of our corporate women's leadership task force because I really believe in that whole notion of lift as you climb.